Congratulations to the class of 2019. You guys have been ready for this moment for a while, and I pray to God that you're ready, and the next step of your life, your future education, He has those things in your hands, so just trust in Him.
It's been a joy to teach them Bible this past year. Quiet class, not a lot of hand waving or questions, but they were thinkers. They were deep thinkers.
And they become more mature, more responsible, and I'm just really happy to be part of their school life.
It's been a real privilege to see these seniors grow up and improve in their time here, and I know that they'll go on to do great things in their future careers, in college, and in family and social life as well.
There's a quote in a movie that goes like, life is a box of chocolates. You never really know what you're gonna get. And I think it's very true with our seniors. Each and every one of them is an individual and is a very special individual in our hearts.
Batch 2019, it has been my great joy and privilege to be your teacher, for teaching you for 2 years, English 2 and English 4. I really deeply appreciate your willingness to have this literary journey with me for 2 years, even though it has been for your sake, but it has been for my happiness as well.
People don't know that Amos was one of the first students here at TIS. Been here, appreciate you, the community service, the willingness to be a leader. You served in SA, you served as class officer. Thank you so much for all things.
And to me, he has always been the responsible student. I still remember the English play that he and his class did in 8th grade, and how he helped with the script and the play, everything. And he is just really helpful and responsible. For the past year, he is the class president of our senior class, and he put together the class trip. He pretty much took care of all the details, and that was really impressive. He is always proactive. To him, there's always a better way to do things. So he's always looking for the more efficient way, and he doesn't settle for the second best. I think it's a very important trait for a leader.
Amos has always been there, since the beginning, and he's been a pillar at this school. He's been quick and willing to step up into leadership positions in spiritual roles, as SA pastor, in different roles. He's always been there ready to help out. And I can't say enough about how much he's given to this school and helped out. In addition to that, I've seen him grow in personal ways. He has always been there in the history stuff, where he shows a lot of passion in that area, and I hope that he continues to pursue that. I always appreciate Amos's quick wit in class, even though sometimes it's cutting, but it's almost always appropriate. And sometimes you need a little bit of a smart aleck in there to keep things interesting and fun.
Amos and I worked together. He was the pastor last year, the spiritual vice, and he was very good. As I was coming in, he knew what was happening here, and as spiritual vice, he helped me with programs to learn PowerPoint and Google Slides, and did some of the programs even. He saw the possibilities of a good worship program and involved students, and I appreciated working with him. Bright young man and good future. If just keep focusing on helping those around you. It is a talent to see things that could be done and to offer your skills and advice in a pleasant way. You'll go far as you keep focusing on others, and their joy can bring you joy.
And great sense of humor, and combined with being one of the smartest students, and very good writer, always has interesting things to write about, and always looked forward to learning a little bit about the politics and what's the big issues in his home country. And he's been a pleasure to have in my classes.
Amos, your potential for research and your sense of history, I really value it.
And Soraya. Soraya has been a joy to teach this past year in Bible. You've been vulnerable, open, honest, pleasant. I see that you're a reluctant leader, but when you take responsibility, you do very well with what you choose to take on. So you appreciate your friends. You're a loyal and honest friend.
I first remember you when we were in the communications class together, and that's the first I met you. And what really stood out was how much you were willing to be serious about your learning. You had goals. You were dedicated to that class and all the things we were doing there, and I believe you improved quite a bit through that process, and I saw that what potential you have. And so my advice for you is keep focusing on the things that you're good at. And when we were at Hanshan together, I saw a glimpse of the compassion that you have, and I think that's a great strength you can use for your future. I first remember you when we were in the communications class together, and that's the first I met you, and what really stood out was how much you were willing to be serious about your learning. You had goals. You were dedicated to that class and all the things we were doing there, and I believe you improved quite a bit through that process, and I saw that what potential you have. And so my advice for you is keep focusing on the things that you're good at. And when we were at Hanshan together, I saw a glimpse of the compassion that you have, and I think that's a great strength you can use for your future.
I have had the privilege of watching Soraya grow up through her time in high school, and I think I've seen some of the biggest growth and improvement from her. In her senior year, she's taken leadership role. She stepped up in the yearbook, created pages, and really took that responsibility that she was given seriously. And I know that the leadership that she's been able to practice here, she'll be able to carry on into her next endeavors.
When James came with us to Kenya, we saw his maturity. He was a good person to have along on a mission trip. In Bible class, not a lot of speaking out or questions, but a good thinker, wrote good notes, and James was good to have in class. He would come out with good points, even tempered, not easily upset.
James goes back to the early days. I taught him in junior high here at TIS, and then he went away for a while, and so some people may not know him as well. But if I go back to junior high and I think back then, he was always the quiet individual who secretly had all the answers, and it's just amazing when I saw him come back. And he's still a little bit of the quiet individual who has all the answers, but he has really grown so much, and I can see a new confidence in him that he didn't have when he left here the first time. So it's really cool that he's graduating, and I know that he is going to accomplish great things in college and in his career.
James, your son is indeed golden.
So I was never able to give him dojo. Of course, when I ask him question, he answers questions, but otherwise, even if he talks in the class very softly, I can hardly hear him. He's also a very well-behaved student, and it's nice having a student like him in the class because he's smart, well-behaved, and respectful too. And I think these are the kind of students that teachers would love to have in their class.
taking leadership roles. That's admirable. And so to take on SA leadership as well as other responsibilities, hats off to you with that. Good luck in your plans for university and AP courses. It's been a joy to have you in class.
In studies, he is always, of course, the top one, number one in the class. And also, other side of Johnson, he is very polite. I do not just consider somebody smart if their grades are good, but when I consider somebody who is smart, when I ask them a question and they can analyze and give an answer, I consider them smart students. And I found Johnson to be that. And many things he could just, he didn't, even if it was not taught and the answer was not given, he could think and he could give me the answer. So by and by, I started calling him Professor, Professor Johnson. And Johnson is one of those very well-behaved students, at least in my class, I can say. And I'm proud to have him in my class. And it was a pleasure really having him as a student in my class.
Johnson, I am in awe of your critical eye and your personal integration. Sometimes they get off, but most of the time they are on point.
If I wonder what I said, I just have to open Rusi's book because her notes are very complete. And she listens well, very musical, of dedication, and you make sacrifices to do well and to improve. I remember working with Rusi in the talent show for last year, The Greatest Showman. And she just put her whole heart into that. So I'll remember that from Rusi. And
I've enjoyed teaching her this year. She's always enthusiastic to learn. She always asks lots of questions to make sure that she understands what's going on. She's also a very kind and compassionate person. She's willing to help others whenever they need it and just lend a kind and comforting word. Rusi is also a very talented musician who will go a long ways with her music.
Despite the hardships and struggles you might have met in high school, Vicky, you have come to the end of it all. And now, most of all, you could look back at all the achievements you've made and the good memories that you can take along with you. I want to tell you, Vicky, that you will meet many challenges in life, but face those challenges with courage. Think of yourself as an ambassador for your school, TAIS. Remember all the good values that you have learned here and never stain your integrity with doing things that are selfish and self-centered. Try always to be good to people that you meet along life's way. And as you progress, I wish you God's blessings that you might find a rainbow behind every cloud.
Vicky is one of those people who experiences life and feels life deeply. I can tell that because she's usually either laughing or crying. There's not a lot of in between for Vicky. And people may not realize it, but I taught Vicky when she first came to TIS in summer school. And her English level was quite low. And she has worked very, very hard to get to where she was. And I can remember the classmates who came in at that same time. And some of them didn't stay. A lot of them are gone. But Vicky powered through and finished strong because she's persistent and she's worked very, very hard to get where she is. Good job, Vicky. Jason is one of those people who has a unique way of looking at life, and I really appreciate it. I remember him coming up to me and having conversations with me, and he's a really deep thinker, and he has insights and thoughts that go well beyond many of his classmates. And I know that he's going to use those thoughts and insights in the future, and I know he'll find that niche that's going to work for him. It doesn't let inhibitions and fear of failure hold him back. We saw him jump up there in leadership in essay and other areas, and I just really appreciate all that he's done in his time in this school and for this school.
We had some Bible study time together, spent time in my office, asking good questions, and I saw this young man mature and grow and stand up for his faith, and this year even develop into a stronger leader and a spiritual mentor for some of the younger students. And he may take some time to do his work, but it's done well.
He's always very enthusiastic about learning. He'll always be one of the first to want to answer questions in class. Sometimes even before they're asked, he's very eager to give answers and share what he's learned. Before an essay was due, he came and found me and had a very engaging conversation about politics in Taiwan and government in Taiwan and the U.S. And I've always enjoyed having someone who really thinks about the issues and applies his learning and is enthusiastic about learning.
Stay meek, humble, and yet fun to be with.
We've had conversations about politics, history, religion, a lot of religion, and I'm not sure what you're going to be studying, but you have a very deep and thoughtful mind. Whatever you study, I'm sure you're going to be successful. Keep on thinking about God and religion, and I've really enjoyed those talks. I congratulate you for your graduation, and I know you'll do well.
Jerchan as an individual grew a lot in his time here in TIAS. He started out a kid who was very much into his own role, but I saw him develop friendship, relationships, and was able to bring in a lot in terms of opinions in class. And I saw him mature in this school, and I really think that he'll be doing great when he goes to college and later on to society.
Jerry, your comprehension of details is really awesome and amazing.
Also, I want to give a shout out to Jerry. What I've seen is that you have time and time again been willing to step out of your comfort zone, things that you're not naturally gifted towards, and try those things and push yourself beyond your normal ways that you kind of function. And I know it's not always been easy, and you've really shown that you're willing to try and do those things. So as you go on to college, do those things that are outside of your comfort zone, and that will make you push you to become a better person. Also, I want to give a shout out to Annie. I'm so glad you're graduating here, and you have this sense of humor that is just, people don't recognize that you have that sense of humor. I don't know if you don't let people in to see that, but I've seen it. I really appreciate that. I hope you can use that, let people know that you have that sense of humor and that character and spirit that you sometimes hide.
Annie was a soft-spoken individual. She was in our small group even before I was in TIS. She's improved a lot in terms of her soft-spokenness and just not being able to express herself a lot. But today, you know, when I see her chatting with her, is one of the most rewarding things that I can do, because I can see the change in how she improved.
And Henry, your willingness to follow or be your teacher step by step and to just listen. Every lecture, every class really humbles me, and that really inspires me a lot.
Being an artistic individual and being a creative individual means that you have a lot of opinions and you have a lot of different thoughts and different thought processes that goes along with your day-to-day. And I think Henry is an individual that can handle that, plus being very social. He created a lot of friends when he's on his stay here, and I think he will do great when he goes to college.
I found Grace to be a very good girl, I should say. She is soft-spoken. She is also one of those respectful, and nice to have students like Grace in the class, and in fact, nice to have students like Grace in the school.
Grace has been here since junior high, and I've taught her in junior high, I've taught her in senior high, and I've had the privilege of watching her grow and improve. People might think, oh, Grace is quiet, but Grace actually isn't that quiet. She talks to her friends, and honestly, I'm not able to give her any dojo points or infractions, even though I know she's speaking Chinese. She's speaking quietly to her friends in the back. And I've seen Grace's confidence improve over her time here. She talks a lot more. She's a lot more outgoing than she was in her younger years in junior high and as a freshman. And I've seen how she's successful in school. She's careful, conscientious, and she does her work really well. And I know these skills are going to take her far.
I only had Grace in my class for a year or two. Unofficially, she's been with us, family, in the small groups ever since she was in junior high, and I saw her grow into the person that she is. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with how hardworking she is. She puts in a lot of effort, whether it's the small things or the bigger things in life, whether it's decision making or homework or all those kinds of different things. She actually puts a lot of effort into them. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with that. I know that she's gonna do well, and she's a great kid. The class name of this year, of class 2019, is Eons, meaning, eternity or a very long period of time. And I hope that the values and education that you got from us here in TIS would be with you guys forever.
Batch 2019, in my own simple version of an antimetabole, I want to tell you, and I want to tell every one of you, that success is not for the faint of heart. You ought to be brave and dare, but much more so to dare even if you are not brave. Congratulations, and God bless you.
As Martin Luther had once said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. And if you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do, just move on forward in life, and God be with you.